crazy happened in couples therapy today that I want to share with you. I had a massive breakthrough around my core wounding with my father. So in my relationship, I often get triggered when my fiance is forgetful. And while a certain amount of that is valid because reliability and consistency are necessary to create a container of safety and trust, my reaction sometimes is a level 8 hysteria. And that's a really good indicator that it's a childhood wounding trigger. So
Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well. And am I surprised? Are you surprised that something in her childhood is the reason why she's having so many issues now? And is this like therapist online, so to speak? I don't know. Life coach? Better answer. Either way, before we get into it, I decided to not do a video to celebrate a year of making videos. Instead, I'm just going to answer a question. Concerned Citizen asked, question for the Fiend Gang, have you, Taylor, and Hidan all met in person before? The answer to that is no, and it's probably always going to be no. You might be able to tell by my accent that I'm North American, Hidan is European, and Taylor is Australian, so we are in very different time zones. Even coming together and creating a video together would be very difficult, so I appreciate it. It would be awesome. I'd love to get a beer with the guys, but probably not going to happen. We're all very different people as well. Either way, let's get into the meat of it. This compilation is dating after divorce. Let's go. What else does this one not say?
In therapy, we unpacked this, and I realized that while my father provided shelter and clothing and food, he wasn't always present and available in the ways that I needed as a little girl. I often felt forgotten about. And so now in my adult relationship, forgetfulness is a major trigger. And I had no idea about that until today. So this is an invitation to do some self-reflection. Where in your love life are you possibly being triggered and you're unaware of how deep those triggers are going? Because once you have that awareness around what your triggers are, you will know how to attract and co-create a healthy, sustainable relationship with someone. Let me know if you have questions in the comments below.
Yeah, there's a lot of therapy speak and womanese in this one, but in honesty, I'm glad that this woman's going to therapy. It sounded like she had a very rough childhood, and unfortunately that stuff carries over into the rest of her relationships. Don't really know if she should be a life coach preaching things when she hasn't fully worked on herself, but let's continue.
So I know I joke a lot and stuff on here, right? But I just wanted to share, like, a lot of times when people ask me, well, like, how did you go through what you went through in regards to your divorce, and how are you making it? Like, and I'm just gonna say this, like, it was hard, but it was very, very simple. And I know
Just be clear.
we hear everybody on the internet saying it, like, know your worth, know you deserve this, you know that. And it's like, when you hear it, and you be like, I know I'm valuable, I know I'm this and that. But sometimes you don't believe it, but you truly gotta believe it. And I just realized that if there's anything that I have to force, is it for me? If there's anything that I have to just go through loops and loops and keep trying.
As the camera drifts off, I realize she's wearing earrings that say Leo, so of course this woman's, anything she says is just invalidated because she loves her astrology. Makes it her own personality. I see the angel numbers, the 888. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's all about her. No kidding, you're divorced.
And feeling like, is that for me? And sometimes the power is in letting go. The power is in deciding that this is not working out for me. This is not creating me to be my best self, and walking away. You know, I am absolutely ecstatic for people to work on their marriages. I'm not a marriage hater. I am actually the total opposite, because I know how valuable marriage is. When you have something and you have it taken away from you, it kind of gives you an understanding on both concepts. So I tell people, like, everybody of course told us like fight for your marriage, but nobody like really knew what to say to fight for your marriage. And so many people just jumped to consuming sides where nobody actually like really helped us to really figure out what was going on. And older couples is like, oh, ain't nothing out there, it's this, is that. And it's hard because it's
Yeah, apparently couples therapy doesn't really work that well. If you have been through a divorce, you know, tough stuff for any of the guys that are watching this and any of the women. Let me know how that went. I'm genuinely curious if it helped your relationship at all, which I hope it did, but definitely leave that down in the comments. Yeah, and expecting people to fix your relationship is a problem. You need to work within your own relationship. Nobody's gonna come save you. It's sad but true.
like when you're with someone and they're not a horrible person, but it don't align with you, like you really have to step out on faith, you know? And I have to even tell myself now, like, comparison is the thief of the night, because it's like, okay, if I experience this level of love, I need the next level to be this and that. And it may not be that, you know? Like, a lot of times people are like, oh, you get 3 loves in a lifetime, like your first love, your real, like your first love, your teenage love, then you get your real love, and then you get your partner of who you're able to do life with. But sometimes you really can get that person in one person, you know? So I just tell people, like, you know what's right for you. And even if you say choose your heart, sometimes you gotta just choose your mind. You gotta choose your mind. So that's all that I kind of did. And it's a journey. Like, you might see the happiness. So that's why I came on here to keep it real, because it's hard. It's a struggle. It's definitely a struggle.
Oh, thank God we're done with that one. Whatever Snapchat filter she was using was bugging out. It looked like it was making her eyelid close rapidly, or maybe she does have some weird shit on her eyes or eyelashes. I don't know. Super weird to me. Either way, more tips on divorce, I guess.
One of the things that causes a lot of heartbreak and pain after a divorce is the fact that you're looking back at the divorce and at the marriage, and you're only seeing the mistakes that you made, right? Like, you chose this guy and he wasn't the right guy, and you put up with all of that stuff for so long, and you know all these things happened. But the fuel that you need to be able to move forward are your strengths. And our brains are just so focused on the negative. Like, that's just the way the brain is designed. It's designed to focus on what's negative. It's designed to focus on what happened that went wrong, supposedly so that you wouldn't do it again, right? Like, that's just the way the brain is designed. So naturally you would think back and have regrets and look at mistakes and maybe even blame yourself or things like that, blame the other person, which, you know, that's kind of normal. However, that can get in the way of you finding the fuel, the sort of like the raw material that you need to build your brand new extraordinary life after divorce, and that is your strengths. So in my first marriage, there were a lot of things that I did that, in a sense, you could say the ex exploited those things. Like, one of them was he always wanted to run a business and he could never get the business off the ground. There was one time he was like, he started this tutoring business, but he was always too scared to go on sales calls. And like, so I was, you know, pregnant. I would go to work during the day. I'd come back, and then he wouldn't have gone on his sales calls. And then he would want me to come with him to go on his sales calls in the evening, right? And I would, actually. But anyway, most of
This dude just sounds not in it enough. I don't know. If you're really passionate about doing something, you'll find the time to do it and do it. Spend countless hours after all this stuff's done to work on my side hustles. I don't know about you guys, but life's rough out there. Shit, imagine your wife going to work pregnant, coming back to that. It'd be pretty disappointing, in all honesty. Oh, let's get back to it.
of the businesses failed. He never, eventually he went to work like I was working. And at a certain point, I had this idea.
Oh, and failure is a natural part of the process. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hawking on anybody that wants to start their own side hustle or their own business. It's hard, but
to create a sort of like a training for people to do what I was doing, right? And he had already like taught some people to do what he was doing in IT, and I was like, oh, and so I created this whole training, but I really wasn't interested in selling it. I liked working, and we put it out there, and it started selling. So like that's basically how the business that we started together got started, and he then eventually quit his job to run that business, right? But I had like designed the program, got the first sales, just really did a lot of the background work. And so he was running it and I was contributing and, things like that. And then at the end...
Well, there was actually something that we could glean from these videos, ladies and gentlemen, instead of just laughing, is that maybe you are IT people out there, package up all the training and education that you've put together and do some sort of info course. Oh, well, there we go.
Of the marriage, it was like 6 months before he filed for a divorce, he had taken me off the business. It was a whole lot of things, but the key is I had done that. And for a long time after the divorce, I forgot that I had that capacity.
Okay, wait just a moment before we finish this one up. Yeah, you have to be careful who you invite onto your projects and businesses, because she could probably take a good chunk of that if she really did do a lot of the like back end stuff for this program that they made together. Gotta be careful, guys. Especially inviting.
So what I did was, then I went back and like wrote down all the amazing things, all my contributions, and then took them and used them going forward to create something new.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I could have just blown through that one. In any case, yeah. Honestly, I think that is a great relationship where you're working towards something and somebody else is doing the exact same thing. But hey, that's just me. I get there's so many guys out there who don't want to get into relationships, and I'm sure there's some chicks that feel the exact same way, because the dating world out there is crazy right now. Either way, that was dating after divorce, and there's a bit of knowledge that you can get from that. Again, I want to apologize that I won't be making a one-year video, but just wasn't enough interest, and I thought I could answer that one comment that really stood out, because, well, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. So let's wrap that up. It's been 13 minutes. I really appreciate you being here. One thing that you can do to help the channel, though, as we do this for pretty much nothing, is like the video so that gets to new people. Subscribe if you really enjoy watching a few of the videos, and hit the notification if you want the notification that I've put out a new video, which is usually 12 p.m. EST. That's the greatest way you can help us at the time being. Same thing for Hidan and with Taylor, helping out on locals. Keeps content creators like us at it and bring you sometimes funny, sometimes informative content that we enjoy putting out. So thank you again for the 1 year of letting me do this thing. Without your support, hey, maybe Taylor would have been like, there's no way, there's no need to keep doing this. Either way, I appreciate it. I'll stop rambling and I'll get on to the next video. See you later. Always do your due diligence. Bye now.